Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our live stream that I'm doing here. My name is Robert Evans with App Bros Design, and I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes with you introducing you to some training around building your list or building your reach, as we like to call it. And this is a day one of a 3-part mini course that I'm teaching. That is a part of an event that's coming up here this weekend called Experts Marketing Mastery. So if you're already registered for that event, you already know about that. And then if you're new here, then make sure that after you're done watching this live stream, whether you're watching it on the app right now or watching it on the website, that you click the button to check out the event, register for free, and attend, because this is basically the next 3 days. These 3 little pieces that I'm doing is a kind of a sampling of what the weekend is all about. And essentially what the weekend is all about and what I'm going to be teaching over these next 3 days is that I'm going to be taking some digital marketing strategies, and I'm going to be talking about, how you can use them in your business to share your message, to impact people's lives, and to generate income, a living with your message, with your business. I'm going to talk about the different strategies that I think work the best, that have worked well for me, that are some of the most logical ways that you can go about, doing what you want to do online in this very crowded space that, a lot of people are doing marketing in right now. And then we're going to give you some step-by-steps of how to do those different strategies, the benefits that they'll have for you, meaning that it's either going to build your reach, your list, and there's different types of lists, which is something that I'm going to be talking about today, or it's going to be designed to share your message and impact people's lives. And that's the focus of that particular strategy, is to actually create impact and get people excited about wanting to be a part of your world and go on a bigger journey with you, or generate income for you. Sometimes these marketing strategies do all 3 of these things. Sometimes they're just focused in on one particular thing that leads to the others. That's what today's topic is about, is building your reach, is about building that community of people around your idea and your message. And then through the work that you do, the things that you share, the content that you create, the messages that you have to give to people, ongoing, you create that impact, and then the invitations for them to go on a deeper, longer journey, or be a part of something that takes that impact to a whole nother level, to generate income so that you can do this work and create this impact full time in your life. So that's the whole focus, is, here are the strategies, here's how to do them, some steps, very critical steps to doing them, and what are the benefits to you ultimately and to your end client user. And then we bring in a unique element in this training, and that is, how do you use a particular platform to massively increase the effectiveness of what you're doing, the effectiveness of building your list exponentially, the effectiveness of creating greater, more consistent impact, and how you can turn all of that into more income than ever before. So that is the focus of the event, is here's the strategies, here are the steps, here's the benefits, and then how do you take this platform? And this platform is a mobile app. It is an actual app that sits on your phone and other people's phones that they download. It's your app that they use and connect with your content on a regular basis. So how do you take a mobile app that then 10 times all of these things, way beyond what you would typically see in regular digital marketing strategies? So that's the focus of the event. It's got a lot of similar teachings, but it has that really powerful twist to it. There is a different way of going about, doing summits and doing live streams and offering things that build your list when you have an app involved. And when you have an app involved, you have a greater potential of higher engagement and more conversions to paid programs. Okay, so today's topic is building your reach, your list. And when I reference a list here in this particular training, I'm not just talking about an email list, which everybody seems to be doing. You are still going to build an email list. An email list is still important, but it becomes secondary to another list, and that is a push notification list. And a push notification list is those notifications that pop up on your phone, that when you tap on them, it opens up an app and then gets you to engage in whatever it is that you want them to go to. And on this training, I'm going to actually talk to you about the difference between a push list and an email list, and why it's so much more effective and so much more powerful, especially nowadays in this very crowded, everybody's trying to build a list, everybody's on everybody's list, and it's just overwhelming to a crazy point here. So let's kind of, we'll dive in on all of that here in just a second. Let me just double check something here. Yep. All right. Just needing to make sure that I was actually live and the audio was working, all that fun stuff. So, all right. So let's talk about building your reach in the very competitive, online, crowded world where lots of people are trying to get you and everybody on their list in order to be able to get you or them to engage with you on a regular basis or in some way, or to monetize your message. And in order to really a list or your reach or your community, there's different words for it, is really critical to anybody that's a digital marketer that really wants to make a big difference, an expanding difference, not just you get into this, little rut where you've got, X amount of people on your list, and that's pretty much where you stay. What we're always looking for is that constant expansion, that growth that doesn't hit a ceiling. And because when you bring new people into your world and you start to bring them into all the things that you have to offer, then that's what builds your business to the level that you most likely want your business to be at. So it's important that you're doing something nowadays in this very crowded, very saturated, and low engaging space of list building and email marketing, social media marketing, all the things that everybody seems to be doing. It's important for you to innovate and be outside of that box. And just to kind of the real quick story or the background on me as a digital marketer, I've been a digital marketer for the last 20 years, almost 21 years, sharing my message and helping other people share their message online in a variety of different ways. I've done the typical and I've done the unique. And actually, the thing that I'm going to be talking about and showing you today is the unique, that I think that you will appreciate, that started 20 years ago. In the previous businesses that I had, I was very successful at building a pretty large reach. I had two different digital marketing companies. One was called Pass Along Concepts. The other was called the Messenger Network. Both of those companies one had 100,000, just over 100,000 people on our email list, and the other one had 130,000 people on our email list. This goes back 15 and 20 years ago. The difference between then and now is massive, in that back then when I had a list and I was able to promote something or share something with my list, whatever that might be, whether I'm trying to sell them something or give them something or whatever, I would get today, considering high engagement. What that means is that when I sent out an email to those lists back then, I would get 60, 70% open rate. And I would often see between 20, 30, 40% click rate. So out of 100,000 people, I would actually get tens of thousands of people that would click and engage in my content. And that's ultimately, as experts, digital marketers, or whatever space that you're in, that is our goal, is to get them to engage in our world in some way. Engage in watching this video, engage in reading this article, engage in signing up for this event or watching this live stream or whatever, or buy this program or set up a coaching call. All of these things, whether they're sharing messages and creating impact or generating income for yourself, engagement is the ultimate goal with any reach, with any community, with any business. So back then, engagement was awesome. And fast forward to today, because not everybody was doing it then, and now everybody is online now, especially over the last year since COVID hit, we've had to really pivot to this place online. And unfortunately, we kind of merged ourselves in. If you weren't doing it before, you're probably doing it now, and you had to merge yourself into an already crowded space. It's kind of pushing your way into the crowd to say, I want a little bit of this that everybody else is competing for. That is someone to sign up and be on your list so that you can communicate with them and get them to engage in your world. So nowadays, the numbers are massively different in as far as engagement is concerned. Number one, what used to be a 60-70% open rate is now more like a 20-25% open rate. What used to be a 20-30-40% click rate is now down in, this is where it all ultimately gets, the engagement is now down to 0.5% to, if you're lucky, 5%, maybe 10%, if you got a pretty engaged community. But the reality is that the numbers, in order for you to get the kind of numbers that you want, are just not there anymore. So because everybody is sending people emails, and there's also something else that has shifted that causes a lack of engagement, and that is people just don't have time to read the long emails that we tend to write and send to everybody. So they might open it, see, in that 20-25% average open rate, and then that low, atrociously low 0.5%. That's what I've seen quite a bit in my list over the last several years. 0.5% to 2%, 3%, or whatever, is because they might be opening, but they're not reading the emails. And the problem is that everybody writes multi-paragraph emails, and not everybody has time to do that. And by the way, most people are actually opening their emails and reading them or not reading them on their phone nowadays, because that's the most accessed device that is out there. And that's where people are spending the greatest amount of their time engaging in the digital world, is right here on their phones right here. So that's the other challenge. The other challenge is that even if we get people to open it, we're not getting them to read it because it's just too much. It's too much for the busy world that we live in. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, kind of, well, how does that differ? If I had an email list compared to a push notification list, how does that differ in, one, how they engage and how they experience things, and the ultimate numbers that are behind it? So let me just give you those real quick so that you can really understand the importance that mobile phones, mobile apps in your business are going to play, whether it's in your business now and you're kind of jumping in as an early, early expert in launching your own apps, or it's later on, because it's inevitable that every business is going to be going to that mobile platform here, especially the apps that people install on their phones. So the difference, one of the big differences, again, let's look at emails, long multi-paragraph emails, where a push notification is simple. It's a call to action. It's a, hey, this is what I've got for you. Click here now. Here, check out this new event that's on this. Tap here to learn more. And because their devices are with them at all the times, the engagement is also quick. So it's, one, they don't have to read something that's long. They literally can read that in seconds. and they're making a decision of, oh, let me check this out, because they don't have to go too much into the thinking of it or what is this all about. They're called into action and they take that action. And this is where the numbers are significant. So let's look at 3 numbers, and then I'm going to tell you about a particular strategy that I started 20 years ago that we've reinvented in the mobile app space that you are going to be learning extensively about in the event this weekend. And not only learning about it, but actually getting it as a tool that you can use in your business right now, because you're signed up for the event. So here's the numbers. There are 3 numbers to look at. There's first, getting them on your list, which we call the opt-in numbers. Second, they have to see what you want to send them when you send out a message, and that's the open rate. So they have to see it first and hopefully read it. And third is click rates, which is engagement, which is the ultimate goal. So you have to get them on your list first. You got to get them to see it and want to get more by then clicking and engaging in you. So open or opt-in, open, and click. Email marketing, the average opt-in rate of number of people that land on your website is somewhere around 5% in our industry, in the training education industry. That means 5 out of 100 people will actually join your list. If you give them something, entice them in some way to join your list to get something from you, 5 out of 100 will actually do that. So they have to first get to your website, and then they have to opt in. That's not great. You have to send a lot of traffic to your app, to your website in order, or to your opt-in pages or whatever it is you use, some online mechanism to get people to join your list and to build your list. So you automatically are having to work really hard. Excuse me. Then, and on the push notification side of things, when they download your app, the equivalent of them going to your website, when they download your app, so you send them a promotion, say, download this app to get this, or download this app to learn this, they download your app, 70 to 80%, the 70 to 80% range will opt in to your push list. And one of the reasons is they don't have to give you their name and their email address. They just literally say, yes, I'll receive notifications. Or on Android phones, it's automatic for most Android users. 70 to 80%, 70 to 80 out of 100 people will join your push notification list. That's a massive, massive increase in difference between email opt-in rates. So you're already way ahead of the game here with a mobile app, and building your reach exponentially. It's the sending of traffic to your website or the sending traffic to your app, day and night difference. Second, now you're there on your list, you got to send an email to get them to engage, or you got to send them push notification to get them to engage. Sending out an email, because of the crowded space that email inboxes, you're competing with all those different other emails that are in there. The average open rate is 20 to 25%. We said that before. Then they have to click. They have to read your multi-paragraph email, and then they have to click, which is that 0.5% to 3%. I think it's 0.5% to 3% industry average. Even if you have a great responding, engaging list that, if you're up 7 or 10%, it's still low numbers. So, 100 people decide to open and read your email, and you might get, let's say on the high end, 7 to 10 of them engaging. That's not great. Push notification side of things. You send out a push notification. The open rate means that they see the notification, whether they see it and they read it, because again, it's just 1 sentence or 2 sentences, very quick. It's a little headline, like a subject line, and a little sentence that gets them to take an action, the call to action. It either shows up on their phone when their phone is locked, or it pops up on their phone when they're looking at it. And so the open rate, which is they see the actual notification, is 90% on average. 90%, not 20, 25%, but 90% will see your notification, and they're making a decision at that point immediately because of how quick it is that they can get that message, and then they're clicking. Okay. And then the click rate is between 25 to 40%, and we've seen it upwards of 60%. So how does that ultimately translate if you compared them apples to apples here, list to list? An email list of 10,000 people will get half the engagement, half the clicks that a push notification list of 1,000 people. 1,000 people. 10% of an email list will generate twice the engagement. So as a digital marketer, 5 years ago when I came across this and I started looking at this and I started exploring mobile apps, I was blown away and I knew that this was the space that I needed to play in. Okay. So one of the things that we're gonna talk a lot about this over the weekend, building your reach, impacting people's lives with your message through an app, through these different marketing strategies, and ultimately generating income through all these different strategies. But one of the big things is that we're going to teach you. You got to build that reach first. You got to get that list built. And in this particular case, we're going to build primarily a push notification list while at the same time building an email list. So we're not tossing the emails out. We're just not making that our be all only really powerful approach to getting people to engage with us. We're going to use this other thing because it's 10 times 200% better engagement. Okay. So one of the things that I'm going to be talking about over this weekend and inviting you as a participant, especially if you're attending live the event, is a particular strategy that I started 20 years ago in my very first business, Pass Along Concepts. We've since rebranded it and we now call it the Track a Concept, or it basically kind of boils down to two different items, a Track a Book and a Track a Card. As a participant in the event coming up this weekend, you're going to have an opportunity to participate in a Track a Book, which I will actually show you here in a second. And you also have an opportunity to get 1,000 Track a Cards that you can use to drive people to an offer that you have, whether it ends up being in your own app or whether it's in one of the apps that we provide to you, where we feature you as an expert and get people synced in with you. Again, you have to come to the event to really learn the nitty-gritty of that, because I no way that I can explain that and show you everything in this very short video here. But what I want to do is I want to show you what we mean by a Track a Card here. So I'm going to switch over here to my phone and I'm going to open up an app and I'm going to show you a Track a Book. And I'm going to explain the concept of how this builds a list for you or builds your reach using viral marketing. Getting people on your list is one of the goals. However, a better goal is to get those people that are joining your list to send other people to you and to create kind of a building ongoing stream of traffic that kind of builds upon itself because of the sharing viral nature of what it is that you're putting in front of people and that they want to be a part of. This is what this whole thing is. So let me share my screen so I can show you actually in an app here. So I'm going to show you one of my apps. It's called Live Your List. If you want to download that from the App Store, just open up the App Store or Google Play Store and search for Live Your List, and you can download this for free. But essentially, we're going to be going into the app platforms and all the different functionality that is possible in an app over the weekend. But what I want to show you here is I want to show you an ebook. Now, this ebook called Passion and Purpose is a what's called a PLR book, private licensing rights or private label rights ebook. And essentially, it's a book that I can buy the rights to and offer and sell or give away to use to build my list. And in this particular case, because my app is called Live Your List. It's not Live Your Email List. It's Live Your Bucket List, so that you understand the context here. But it's all about living your dream life, living your passion and your purpose and that sort of thing, which this book is perfect for. So it's a perfect book for my particular app. Now, there are hundreds of PLR books that you can use, or you can write your own books. But essentially, this is an actual ebook. And it not only is an ebook that I load into my app, but it's also an ebook that shows up as a PDF. So this is something that people opt in to get for free, which, by the way, is building my email list. But once they opt in, let's go back to here. Once they opt in and get the book, in the book, there's a page, this particular page here, that explains what a track-a-book is. And what a track-a-book is a trackable and shareable book that is intended to be shared with other people that they know. So essentially, instead of them getting this book and opening it up and reading it and then leaving it be, in their ebook, and they can read it on their Kindle, because you can read PDFs on your Kindle, or they can read it inside your app or a app or whatever. But instead of them just reading it and then leaving it be, they are encouraged to read it, and then step 2, download the app that this book is connected to. In this particular case, the Live Your List app, and we give them a QR code that they can scan, or they can search it in the App Store. They download the app, and then inside of the app, there's a tracking screen where they input the tracking number that's inside of that book. 200, 500, okay? 200,500 is the tracking number for this particular book. Once they're done doing that, they read the book, they download the app, they track it, and it walks them through the steps of, after they track it, what do they do next? They are then encouraged to share that book with everybody that they know, whoever they want. And because it's an ebook, they can literally turn around and attach it to an email and send it to their entire tribe, or they could send it to 5 of their friends and family members or whatever. And they basically can send this to whoever they want. And the idea here is that every time this book is passed along, so if I send this off to 5 of my friends, and one of my friends sends it off to 50 of their friends, another one sends it off to 10 of their friends, it kind of exponentially starts to grow here. This is the viral element of it. Every person that gets the book is encouraged to, because the book tells them to, and they're out of curiosity. We see a high number of people actually doing this, will download my app. They will track the book. Okay. So what does that mean when they track the book? Well, when they track the book, let's put this in here, 200, 500. It pulls up the history of that book. Well, this is actually a sample book here. Let's do a real book here. Let's do 200. 200, I think. Let's do this one. So here we go. So they track the book, and what happens is it pulls up the history of this particular ebook with this particular number, and where and when it started, meaning the first person that ever tracked it and actually passed it along, and where it's traveled to from one person to the next. And each person that you click on has basically they're leaving a message that of what they thought of the book. So what it's happening here is that it's actually that ebook is creating these mini communities of people that are reading the book and that are passing it along, and everybody gets to see not only who is getting the book after it's passed from them to the next person, to the next person, the next person. In other words, what's the ripple that this book is creating in people's lives because you decided to pass it along to X number of people. But it also gives everybody an opportunity to possibly even connect with each other and send each other messages. And you have an option of actually turning that on or off inside of your account. So you can turn on or off the ability to be able to actually receive messages from people. But essentially what this book is doing is it's creating this, viral movement of the message based off of the tracking number that people share and connect and discuss the topic of the book inside of your app. Now, that's a whole nother story. That's the impact, that's the ripple that you're creating and that sort of thing. What I want to really point out here is the understanding of how your reach exponentially grows because of this concept. Again, instead of that book being read by one person and then and not going anywhere, it's being read by one person and they start to share it, and those people start to share it, and those people start to share it. And because the book is inviting them to add themselves to the history of the book by downloading the app. Every person that downloads that app, 70 to 80% of them are joining your push notification list. So this is how it exponentially grows your list, which, by the way, is 200% more engaging than an email list. And people are actually really getting some kind of value and building some kind of community around the message of the book. So what's going to happen this weekend is you're going to be invited to be a contributing author to one of a dozen different books on a variety of different topics: personal growth, health and wellness, business, marketing, and that sort of thing. You're going to have a choice to pick one book, and you'll be able to actually do two things inside of that book. You'll be able to write an introduction chapter that we add to the book. Two, you'll be able to put a promotion of something that you've got going on inside your business at the end of the book. You give us that information, that chapter, that introduction, and that promotion. Or you don't give us a chapter, you only give us a promotion. We then create a book, that particular book, with a unique number that is connected to you. And then you start sharing it with people. And every time someone tracks that book, on the tracking screen is a call to action that links to you to build your list, or links to you to get them engaged in your world. Okay. So what you're able to do here, whether you have an app or not, is to participate in and get a branded book with your message included in something that you want to promote, that you can then share and be a part of either our app or your app and that sort of thing. If it ends up being your app that this book is connected to, or multiple books are connected to, then you're going to be benefiting massively from your push notification list growing, in addition to your email list growing. So one of the things that, to wrap up this call, because I'm kind of coming to the end of my scheduled time here, one of the things that is our focus here is not just to teach you the basic, what everybody else is doing, digital marketing strategies, but it is to give you unique, powerful, proven ways of building your list exponentially, to building your reach exponentially. And remember, my first company that this concept was first built around, my first company had an email list of over 100,000 people. And I am not an author. I definitely wasn't an author back then. I wasn't well known. There was nothing unique or special about me. I mean, my mom would say there's something special about me, but you know what I'm saying, that allowed me to create that list. It was this strategy. It was the consciously creating viral marketing tools that drives people to my world to build my list exponentially. I was able to build a list of 100,000 people very quickly. Now, the other thing that you're going to be getting at by attending the event is you're going to actually get an opportunity to get 1,000 physical tracker cards. Same concept, instead of it being an electronic item, like an ebook, this is a physical card where you'll be able to choose different messages that are on the front. So since you can't see that, it says, this one's called Start a Gratitude Person. Tell one person why you're grateful for them today, and then give them this card. Then on the back of the card says, how far will this card go? Where has it been? Download this mobile app, your mobile app if you want, or you can use our app if you don't have an app. And this app allows you to track and update the path of this card, and it has a unique number. Each individual card has its own number that you can basically put on the card, hand it off, and then the card kind of ripples from one person to the next. Every person downloading your app and getting exposed to your message in your business and that sort of thing. This is another card that's available, probably our most popular card. It says, thank you for being who you are and doing what you do. Who you are is wonderful, and what you do is important. By attending the event, or because you are a VIP, we'll give it to everybody, but you definitely want to attend the event so that you can learn how to leverage this. You'll get 1,000 of these cards that will be linked to your business. So that's what we mean by building your reach using, you're going to do it a bunch of different ways. We got about 15 different marketing strategies that we teach that helps you drive traffic to download your app, to build your push list, and to build your email list at the same time. And we're going to be teaching you a bunch of those during this training, but this is one of the big ones because you actually get an opportunity to have a branded or a branded book where you're an actual co-author or introducing the concept inside of that book, and advertising something, and that will be unique and a unique number that's specific to you. Okay, now I'll go into this a lot more during the event. Obviously very limited by the time that I have here to explain something as extensive as this, but I wanted you to understand and get at least an idea of what this concept was, because I want you to understand how big this is, how important it is for you to learn about mobile apps now because of all the things that apps provide that we're not able to get anymore in the regular digital marketing space. Definitely not with email marketing, definitely not with social media marketing for most of you. So apps is the game-changing platform that you want to play in. But you still have to use and learn the same digital marketing strategies and use and leverage unique concepts like the tracker books and the tracker cards to exponentially grow your lists so that you can make money, impact people's lives, and do your passion and your purpose as the book explains here. Okay, so so that's one of the things that you're going to learn throughout those 3 days is building your reach, building your list so that you can achieve the goals that you're setting out to do in your business. Thank you for your time. Excuse me, today. Tomorrow we do our next mini course call, which is going to be talking about the power of impact and how you can increase your impact in people's lives. And then on Thursday, we do the next one. How do you create income from that reach and that impact and everything that this platform has to offer? So we'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific. Thank you very much. And if you're not registered for the event, click the link in the app, click the link in on the website. If you're on the website, register for free, and we'll see you this weekend. Thank you, everybody. Have an amazing day.